sincere thanks to each of you for taking the time to be here today. As you have read in the email I sent to each of you, today's workshop is about creating a culture of invitation within small groups. I will be your facilitator. My name is Devin Aiken, and the workshop will last approximately 30 minutes, may go as much as 35. Today we have the following participants in the room: Lisa Oren, where'd you go? There she is. Joyce Friedman, okay, Luke Nobles, our timekeeper over here, and let's see where I'm at. Amy Callahan and Stephen Daniel Martin here, and Stephen is our mobile videographer. Okay, Nick and Hannah Lonis here, and Nathan and Courtney McGee. All right, so thank you guys for participating. I really truly appreciate this. I know it'll be beneficial to our church. We will have 3 distinct role play exercises or scenarios in today's workshop, and we will be on a strict time schedule. As I mentioned in the pre-workshop email, things will be moving so quickly today it will almost seem like speed dating. The main camera is in the rear corner of the room, and Stephen will be operating a mobile camera from time to time, getting various shots that we can bring into the final video. Luke is our timekeeper, and he has been briefed on how to perform his role. When Luke calls time or just raises his hand quietly, we must be very quick to transition to the next exercise. We'd love to just stretch these things out, but we can't. We don't have the time for that. Now, pizza will be served following the workshop, and there will be no scheduled restroom breaks because the event is so time constrained. But if you have an emergency, there's a restroom right there behind that wall. Please leave quietly to do that. Ground rules, reminder: stay engaged. Raise your hand rather than interrupting others. Use the sticky notes. Follow instructions, silence cell phones. Listen to the timekeeper. Critiques should provide positive and helpful feedback, and everything we do should move as quickly as possible. A simple guide to role-playing critiques. We want to write observations and or suggestions on a sticky note while the role-playing exercise is in progress. Write up to 5 sticky notes per exercise. You probably won't do that many, but that's the maximum. Sticky notes will be turned into the facilitator, that's me, following this exercise. And the facilitator will read at least some of them and stick them on the whiteboard for a quick review. Verbally offer any additional positive feedback or thoughtful suggestions for improvement in a very orderly manner. Quickly ad lib on others' feedbacks and suggestions. So if one person makes a comment, feel free to comment on their comment, and so on. And then I'm going to try to write some things on the board, if we didn't get them on sticky notes. All right, first is the project problem. In other words, the problem I'm trying to solve with this workshop, the reason we're here. The problem is that Highview Church in Villa Rica, Georgia needs to assess its current strategy for small group discipleship. The project rationale, that's why we're doing it. Highview Church's stated goal is making disciples in West Georgia, but it lacks an organized, comprehensive strategy to accomplish this goal. The project purpose. Increasing the average number of weekly small group attendees being discipled across all of Highview Church's small groups by creating a culture of invitation within small groups via 4 things: evangelism, invitation, hospitality, and discipleship. The workshop methodology, how we're going to do this, or the justification for it. So the workshop methodology justification: a workshop is a better methodology than a meeting, an email, or a survey for accomplishing the purposes of the stated goals, because it offers a collaborative environment for discussion and role play exercises. It's more interactive. We learn more by doing. I'm going to give you an important statistic here regarding the use of the workshop to solve this problem. Multiple 2022 and 2023 large-scale studies show that productivity is increased by 20 to 30% using workshops rather than general unstructured meetings. Further, a 2023 study of 31,000 workers identified inefficient meetings as their top productivity killer. So we don't want to be unproductive. We want this to be a very productive time to learn a lot from each other, and it won't take very much time. Our workshop goals and outcomes, there are 2, and they are very important here. Becoming more comfortable with and effective at invitation through collaborative education. That is our number one goal. We want to be more comfortable doing this invitation of people into the small groups. And secondly, generating new and additional ideas on how to increase average attendance at small groups. We want to come up with more ideas, and those will happen as we do things together, collaboratively teach and help each other and critique each other. Those things will just come up naturally. Okay? So we have 4 role play exercises. Some suggestions from me as a facilitator. Try to forget that there's people watching. Just be yourself. I know that's very difficult, but we're all family here. And just try to forget that there's anybody around. You're in that scenario. You're either the invitee or inviter. And just be as natural as you can be. Tune out everything around you. Talk to one another in the most natural way possible. Nothing forced. Give it your very best shot, like this really matters to you, because it really matters to our Lord. Okay? Invitees should make up their scenario on the fly. Nothing planned or rehearsed, so that the inviter has to listen carefully and think quickly. You're presenting a scenario on the fly. They have to think on the fly. That's why we're doing the role play instead of just talking about this. The procedure here, random selection from the bowl. So we've got a bowl of numbers here, and we're going to pick 2 numbers and randomly put them on these seats where we have the inviter with the little business card that they could use if they can get to it. They may not be able to get to it. And then, of course, the invitee. And then, let's see. Yep, so we're randomly going to select that and move right into the at church role play exercise. And other participants during that role play are simply writing their critiques, nothing more. And some considerations to think about especially when you're the inviter. Keep these things in mind. Does this person or family seem to fit the profile of someone who would be a good fit for your group? Think about that for a second. If our group were all college kids, would I go and invite an 80-year-old couple with no kids? Are they going to be a good fit? Are they going to feel like they're really fitting into that group? Would they end up leaving? Think about those things when you're the inviter. How long have they been attending Highview? Are they a member or are they just visiting? That's important information for you to decide where to take this thing. It's not important for you to say everything. It's important for the critiquing folks to pick up where you were going and the decisions you made in your head by going in this way rather than that way. That's all what we're listening to carefully. What city do they live in is important. Think about why that would be important. If they live 50 miles away and you got a group close to them, why would you invite them to your group? You might want to invite them to some other group, for example. How long would their drive be to get to your group or a different group? Are they already attending a Highview small group? And if so, which one? That matters, right? Are you going to steal them from another group? Is that what the goal is? No, I don't think so. You could ask them if they are. Maybe they're not happy there. Maybe they would be closer to you or many other things, but that's up for you to figure out. And if the opportunity arises and it's a good fit, tell them about your group and offer them the little business card with the contact information on it. If it's a good fit and you think it's the right opportunity for that. If not, don't. So it's actually okay not to invite them. This is important, not to invite them to your group if you think they're not a good fit. And everybody here should see, this person's not going to be a good fit for their group or so on. But consider telling them about other groups. If you know about there's another one in your area, and it's just about, your age group or your social situation or what have you. Okay? Any questions or thoughts about any of that before we get started? Okay, first scenario. Here we go. This is called the at church exercise. The inviter approaches a prospective invitee who they do not know at church. They do not know each other. On Sunday morning, introduce yourself and then naturally try to move the conversation toward an invitation to your small group if it makes sense. Okay, we have numbers 2 and number 1 chosen. Take your places, please. And you have 2 minutes. Again.
Hey, how are you? I'm Nathan.
Hey, I'm Danielle.
I don't recognize you. You go to church here?
Yeah, my husband and I actually moved
a couple months ago to the area, and we joined actually last month at the church and conference.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm glad to see that y'all are here.
Yeah.
Y'all in small group by chance?
No, I haven't really heard much about small group. What's that about?
Well, we got a ton of small groups in the church, and we all meet various times during the week, and we just study the Word. And is that something you'd be interested in?
Oh, yeah. Where are you guys meeting?
Well, our group meets in Carrollton, but where are you located?
We're in Villa Rica, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, well, it's not too far of a drive, but we also have a lot of other groups, around.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a chance I can get you connected with our front desk?
Yeah, absolutely. That
Awesome.
sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys.
Good job.
So, well done. All right, so the next part is critiques and sticky notes. If you have any sticky notes, I'll take them. Okay, thank you very much.
You need help putting them on there?
Oh, no, I can do that, yeah. You know, okay. It's not gonna be, these will be our, so there we go. Hopefully they'll stay. Anybody else?
Right here.
Okay, I'll take them.
I didn't have any, so I have some.
No, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. That's no problem. All right. All right, so we had smooth flow, direct and decisive, logistical.
Yeah, like where they live.
Yeah. He went right into
Yeah,
hey,
very good.
Where you at? Let me get you with the Connect desk.
Excellent. Good. Y'all been to small groups. Excellent. Help finding groups, front desk. Excellent. So good feedback there. So, so how may we improve? This is the question we want to answer. How may we improve on this? How this scenario played out? You have 3 minutes to discuss.
When your stickiness fell on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. So we've got what's on the board here, but what else? What else do we have? These are not going to stay, are they? That's all right. I'll just hang on to them. But anyway, what else do we have?
Maybe invite to your group specifically.
Okay. Yep. I noticed that one as well. Instead of inviting possibly to just a group or getting connected to the front desk, maybe to your group, since he did mention that it was very close. What else? What else?
Ask a little more about their schedule, like, are they free on certain evenings or?
Good. Good.
I think maybe if you know, sorry, I totally didn't for you. If you know the group leader of somebody in that area, and they happen, like, you just take a glance around the congregation. If you see them, maybe you take them to them, introduce them. That way they have a very direct.
Nice.
That way if they go to that group, they don't know no one. They at least know the group leader.
Great. Great. What
I
else?
heard the invitee say, she was married. Is your husband here? Do you have kids?
Ah, yes. More inquisitive on their family situation, social situation. Yes.
Asking if that group like has childcare.
Good one. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else? Feedback from the two that were up here. Did you have any additional feedback you wanted to throw in the ring now that you're sitting in the critiquer's chair? Okay. Good job. Thank you. You guys look natural. Okay. Some ideas from me. What do you think about getting your business cards for the small group and passing out at least one card per week if it's possible? What are your thoughts on that? Think it's logistically impossible to pass out a card a week to actually get to the point where you can pass out the card without seeming unnatural or, like you're throwing cards at people or whatever. But, just trying to have that conversation one per week where you could actually get to the point where, hey, I think you're a good fit for our group. We'd like, I think you're a believer. I'd like for you to come and visit with us if you would like to. We'd like to get to know you. How feasible do you think that might be?
I think it's pretty feasible. It gives you like a concrete goal, to attain for. Be like, okay, well, I can land this plane by giving this card out and actually offering an invitation. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think it'll help you be more intentional about actually
Yes.
talking to people.
I
Because you're
think
not going
so.
to have the opportunities unless you are in
If
conversation.
you're thinking, when you walk in there, instead of just doing like I typically do and hug everybody in the congregation, maybe I need to be more intentional about saying, I don't know that person. Let's go and engage them. That's why we're doing this today. It helps me as much as you. And so this practicing this scenario, critiquing this scenario, it gives us more guts to go out there and overcome this this hurdle that we have. I'm not sure. You already done it several times. How do you not sure, right? And so you go and try it, and then you can come back to the group and talk about that. I tried this with this person. It didn't go just as I planned. Well, now you've got a whole group that's supporting you. Well, maybe you could do this, and you're all in the boat together. Does that make sense? That's good feedback. Amy?
I've heard the question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, apologize.
Okay, what do you think about asking the elders to assign all church members to a small group?
It feels.
Would that prime the pump for you going and talking to all these people?
Yeah, if you knew they lived in the area and you knew they weren't currently in a group or this is when they were assigned to, you kind of have a little bit of a foothold and be like, hey, you're already assigned to it. Like, let's try and figure out how to get you in.
Okay, what if the elders made the list on a per area basis and handed that out to small group management and then out to the small group leaders, and then allowed you to go and say, hey, we got these 5 people. Can you go talk to one? You go talk to one, and that kind of thing on a weekly basis until everybody gets a personal invitation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, for me, I'm a newer member, so I don't really know who belongs. Like, I know these guys are all in groups. I know a few others from Pantry are in groups, but I don't know, like the 60% you're saying that's not in groups. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, I don't either. And that's I think that would help us if we knew at least the ones in our area that would already shortcut that evaluation of do they live too far away. They're saying they don't. They live around the corner. Okay, how are we doing on time? Good. All right. I have 2 thought-provoking questions for you. If most of your group, this is hypothetical, consists of college-age young adults, would a couple in their 60s be able to relate well to the group or vice versa? Your opinions?
No, probably not.
I think they wouldn't be able to relate well, but I think they could offer some wisdom and insight to younger people. I think there's a difference.
There's been relating and actually being able to like pour into people, because if it's just college students, like, the whole iron sharpens iron thing is amazing, but you also need people pouring into you as well, so there's a benefit to that side of it.
Second question, could we create low-pressure entry events every few weeks? Things like a bonfire, a game night, a service project. They're explicitly for disconnected believers. They're not in small groups. And instead of saying, hey, can you come to my group? You say, hey, we've got a bonfire going, this Saturday night or whatever. You want to come and hang out with my small group? We'd love to have you and get to know you. And you're not actually inviting them to the small group meeting yet. You're giving them an opportunity to get to know you first. We have bowling night. Would you like to go? What do you guys think about these kind of low-pressure entry-level events? How difficult would this be to coordinate, or how difficult logistically, or would it overcome the hurdle that of just trying to invite them straight to your group? What are y'all's thoughts?
I feel like that's way more like natural, like it gives, like I said, it's like a low pressure environment, so that way nobody, immediately puts a wall up when you approach them, it's like we're all there bowling, so it's easy to kind of strike up a casual conversation, which can lead to, a more pointed question about like small group or church in general.
Okay.
Well, they'll feel more comfortable to come and sit under, like the teaching and have discussion when they've already been able to talk with people just in a casual way.
So that seems like a positive approach. Okay. That was some of the research I did. That was a suggestion, so I wanted to run it by you. Okay. Any final comments, critique items, thoughts about ways we could that just kind of arose out of nowhere that we could get more people into small groups?
Or maybe a way like after church, like some kind of little, food or something, just like after church, because a lot of times I feel like people don't want to leave and come back at 6 o'clock at night or go back out. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was just kind of naturally, like come,
to go from church right into a social thing for an hour.
Just kind of get.
Rather than let's go to a restaurant, let's just go right over here. There's already snacks and let's get the most. That is a wonderful idea.
Especially how diverse geographically Highview is. Like some people live an hour away, they're not going to go there and come back.
Because it might also help, if they've got like a big family, a lot of kids, their kids are already there, and and there might be some extra help there, and having to go home and then find childcare to come back.
It's one of the most unique ideas I've heard. Thank you. I'm going to take that one That will be at the top of the list. Okay, we are ready. I hope we're still good on time. We are ready for our next scenario called Knowing Highview. The scenario is the inviter approaches a prospective invitee who they do not know at the Knowing Highview meeting. Are you guys all familiar with what the Knowing Highview meeting is? Okay, it's the meeting we have to get people that they're interested in joining our church. They're going to know more deeply about it. They meet upstairs in our common room, and one of the elders will talk to them for about an hour, tell them about our church and what we do, what we're about, and so on. And both before and after are opportunities, for us to meet them and to get to know them. So introduce yourself, then naturally try to move the conversation toward an invitation to your small group if it makes sense, keeping in mind they may or may not be a believer. There's 50-50, 60-40, whereas at church, there's a very high chance because they've already been vetted by the elders and so on, but here they have not. So keep that in mind as you go. Let's pick two numbers. Okay. And let's see, the invitee is number 6, the inviter is number 4. All right. Places. Careful with those stools, they slide.
Careful.
All right. You have 2 minutes. Go.
Hi, I'm Joyce.
I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy. So you're interested in Highview.
I am.
How long have you been coming?
I've just been visiting for a few weeks. I haven't been in church in a long time.
Okay, why not?
Just a lot of personal stuff, just haven't felt like going very comfortable not coming on
Well,
Sunday.
so you've been coming to Highview, so.
I have. I've come for a few weeks, and
Yeah,
just hearing
yeah.
the gospel just sounds amazing. I just want to know more about the church.
Okay, all right. Well, are you married? Do you have children?
I am married. I've got 2 kids.
Okay, how old are they?
They're 22 and 20.
Oh, okay, all right. So, now have they been coming with you?
They have not.
Okay.
They have not. So
All right. Well, I'm glad you're here.
thank you.
So obviously you want to know more. Have you heard about our small groups?
I haven't.
Okay, so we have small groups that meet during the week, and we go over the sermons, and we have, we get into the Word and we dig into the Word, but it's also just a wonderful opportunity to get to know the people, and to know people in the church.
That's good. I'm kind of shy around new people, so like a
Well,
smaller setting would be better.
it is a small setting. We usually have like 10 to 12 people,
Okay.
but you could come with me if you wanted to.
you, Joyce.
And I do have a card for a small group
Oh,
information on
thank
it.
you.
So, yeah, Devin and Deanne, they are just absolutely wonderful people.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they're really friendly. So, it's like they don't know a stranger.
How long have you been going to that group?
Oh goodness, a year or so. And it's like the best part of my week because I might be really tired and I'd just rather go home from work, but I just get rejuvenated because get in there, sometimes we have a dinner, sometimes we just sit and talk for a little while, and then we get into the Word. And
Time.
it's good.
Well done.
Great job.
Well done.
All right.
That's how she invited me.
Very, very well done. You do a pro. All right.
That's exactly how you did me.
That was great. All right. Sticky notes, please. Okay. Wow. All right. Fantastic. All right. So let's.
Pro, buddy.
Yeah, that was great. Friendly invitation, yes.
Very friendly.
Kept asking questions, love it. Passion about groups, fantastic. I love that so much. Invited with the card, great. All right. Very authentic, I think so too. That was probably where I've gone. That was as authentic as I've seen. Wonderful flow, genuine. That's twice that came up in that one.
I'm just shaking like
You wouldn't know.
So
That's
natural.
But
exactly who you are.
you look natural, but imagine now that you've been there, done that, how that's going to go in the real world, right? Come with me, amazing. Yes, amazing. It's like, come and see, and, it's Philip all over again in Acts. And then super friendly. This was great feedback, guys. Very, very good feedback. I can use all of that. Okay. All right. So remember our basic question is how may we improve on how this scenario played out? Go. You have most of 3 minutes. Go ahead. How could we improve on this? What was missed? Where could have been taken otherwise, or anything at all?
I don't know if anything was necessarily missed, but I had a thought that she could have invited her for coffee or something because she seemed anxious. So maybe
Yes,
before
good.
that, just to kind of ease her into it, invite her to coffee before.
That's very good. Calm the nerves, get to know them more personally, take the weird awkwardness out of it, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Just so you guys know, she invited me to dinner when she invited me. We went to dinner and then she invited me to church, so.
So you're saying she's better in the real world at this than she was. Okay. Anybody else? Thoughts?
I liked how genuine she was, and maybe offer your phone number.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And she offered the card, which would have had her group leader's number, but you can always, the reason that I left the back of this blank is for your information. And so, you can make two-sided cards. I'm like, no, that's for you to write your number, your email, whatever it is. And so, other comments, thoughts before we jump into, okay? Some ideas that I had on this. Should there be more of an emphasis on providing childcare at most groups or at your group? Hannah mentioned this earlier, but consider for a second, if you're at the Knowing Highview and you see a family they have 5 kids, literally with them, mom, dad, 5 kids. I have seen this scenario myself. And you're thinking to yourself, are they a good fit for my group? But your group has no child care. Well, you could think either, yes, they're definitely not a fit for my group. That's just not going to cut it. Or you might think the opposite, as in we don't have child care, but there's no time like the present to start. And if we start with them, then we can now invite a broader scope of people to our group because we have child care. So no time like the present. What are your thoughts on the whole child care? Should we provide it? Should there be groups without it? The whole, just go anywhere with it. We're looking for ideas and feedback.
There's only a couple right now that really have children, a lot of children. And I don't know that they necessarily have childcare. They just.
We have 2 in our group and they run around and.
Right, that's kind of what
Yeah.
the other
Yeah,
groups are.
because it just kind of depends on
What ages and.
Yeah, because that really does make a difference. I mean, if it's just like an infant, I mean that's, we can take turns holding and do whatever.
Right. And we do.
Yeah, and in another situation, if they're like 3, 4, age need a little bit of entertainment, they can take turns
Right.
going and entertaining the kids and keeping a watch on them. Well,
That's why we situated this room the way it is, because behind this is a big TV, and we figure eventually we're gonna have childcare. And this is away from the main room, and it has all the stuff for them to, yeah. So you could go either way in that scenario, I think. Let's see. What about, one thought is to remember people's names. Why? Because they may not get finished with this conversation. The music starts, Ben starts playing, and we all got to sit down and that kind of thing. So you're halfway through this conversation. So if you forget their name, you're not going to be wanting to go back and talk to them until you can remember their name, which you just forgot. That's embarrassing. It's always embarrassing. And for those who have problems remembering names like me, it's a struggle. So I have to continuously remind myself. The next week, you may get to finish that conversation at church, at Knowing Highview, at Pantry, wherever. And if you remembered their name after a week, how far would that go with them? How meaningful would that be? They may not remember yours, but you remembered theirs. What are y'all's thoughts on focusing on remembering names?
It shows intentionality.
Okay. That you remembered them and you cared enough.
Hopefully you've been praying for them all week.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Makes it feel like special and important, like you felt, the need to reach out to them and remember them.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not just like a face in a big crowded room,
They are important
Yes.
by name.
Yes.
Jesus remembers all of our names. So, okay. Thought-provoking question number 1. How are we on time? Okay. If your group is held in city A, but the family lives in city B, which is 30 plus miles away, what is your recommendation in order to get them into a small group? How can you help them?
Definitely kind of point them towards like the front desk, where we can actually kind of, parse out which groups are where, trying to figure out what's best for them, try and get them connected to that.
Okay, I'll piggyback and then I'll let you respond. Do you know where all the current groups are and where they're located and who leads them? And rather than pointing them to the desk, you could say Kyle leads that group and he's in Marietta, or you could say the Baughtons lead that group and they're in Villa Rica, or you fill in the blank. Do you think that would have a meaningful impact to know this off the cuff? I mean, we have 10 groups. If there were 50 groups, there's just no way. You could know a few, but how much more impactful would that be rather than pointing them to the desk? And or is that worth doing? I mean, do you think it would, yeah, but I don't think I could remember all that. So that's pretty tough. What are y'all's thoughts?
So what I was gonna say kind of goes into this. On our church app, Church Center app, it shows our groups. Okay, so I looked at them today before I came, just because I thought, oh, do I know where all of our groups are? But it showed the names, but it didn't necessarily say where, like what area when you're looking at it says this group, this group, this group. So I was thinking, oh, it'd be nice if it said.
There's good feedback. And maybe before you approach the person, you pull up the groups on your phone where they go, I live 40 miles in this direction. And it's already loaded. Right. And you're like, oh, the so-and-so group is near where you are. That would be fantastic. Yeah. So we could add to this that the group locations need to be added to the app so that we would have a quick reference. And when we're talking to somebody, that's wonderful. Good idea. Any other thoughts on that?
Maybe identify somebody in each group so that you have at least one person that you can.
And what if you did know the person or that group that's going to be closest and they were standing literally right over there and you're at church Sunday morning and you go, hey, let me introduce you to, and you introduce them, hey, they're in your area and I think it'd be really cool if they could, visit. You guys should talk and, and then you spout out what you've already learned. Married, kids, young, Wednesday night's better than Tuesday night, that kind of thing. Anything you could give them as a lead-in to let them do that, especially if they've practiced this before. They can pick up right where you left off. Does that make sense? Like a baton, passing a baton. Next thought-provoking question, how would a +1 default mindset impact your small group's attendance? That is, for example, Amy is the queen of +1. She doesn't know how to show up to small group without a person in tow. This is so great. So how would it impact our group's growth if we had this constant +1 mentality? I'm not going to group without somebody in tow. They may not come, but I'm going to invite them. I'm going to hope that they're going to be there. I'm going to pray for them. How would that? Do you think it would impact the real world growth of our groups? Significantly, be logistically challenging. What are your thoughts on that? Amy, you're the queen of this. How hard is it to get somebody to come to a group where they don't know anybody?
You first have to just establish a comfortability, and you base that off of, do you have faith, whether it's strong or weak, and then they're willing to come with me to want to get to know them.
And it seems to me that their connection to you is what gets them to come. They trust you, they believe in you, so they're willing to go and experience this thing that's very unknown, probably a little nerve-wracking to start with until they get to know people.
Because most of the people I come across at the gas station are they're either unchurched or never have been in church, but have faith but don't quite know don't know who exactly they believe, what is truth, what isn't truth, because they just haven't been hearing the gospel consistently. So if they say no to church, the second option is well, what about Tuesday night?
Yeah. So it's my opinion that small groups are effective at discipleship, and they're probably modestly effective at evangelism, but not as effective, because you're trying to disciple a group, grow them up as Christians. But if you've got a non-believer there, it may seem like a lot of gibberish to them, foolishness to those who are perishing. And so it's one of those things where if you want them to hear, and there's no other way for them to hear, invite them. I'd way rather us be a little uncomfortable, them be a little uncomfortable, but they hear the gospel than to never hear it at all. Absolutely. But at the same time, it wouldn't be my expectation that non-believers are going to be like, wow, this is like home to me. This is what I've been missing my whole life. These very weird people talking about this very weird thing, and I don't quite understand. I just love this so much. That's not the average response. Does that make sense? All right. Next, let's see. Yes, next exercise is called pantry. How are we doing? We running along yet?
Yeah, a little.
Okay. At pantry exercise, here's the scenario. The inviter approaches a prospective invitee at the Hy-Vee pantry who they have met previously. You've met them before. And are pretty sure they're a believer from your previous interactions. You're pretty sure. Remember, the invitee can take this anywhere they choose. Greet them warmly, remind them of your name, and then naturally try to move the conversation toward an invitation to your small group, if it makes sense. All right, here's our two numbers. This one is number 3 on the invitee seat, number 5 on the inviter seat.
I'm inviting or I'm
Invitee, you're getting invited.
I'm getting
And
invited.
whether you're a believer or not, it's up to you. All right, you're at the pantry. You've met them before. You're pretty sure they're a believer, but you're not 100%. Greet them warmly, remind them of your name, and then try to move it toward an invitation. You have 2 minutes. Go.
Hey, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
It's nice to meet you.
You too. We've met before.
Yes, that's right. You're Lisa, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how long have you been coming to pantry?
Well, a couple years now.
Do you have a husband, kids?
No, I'm single.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm just glad that you're here. We're so glad that you're here. Do you have a background at church? Like, do you go to church
No,
somewhere?
not really. I mean, I've been here. I went to different churches, and I just haven't found the right fit.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm just glad you're here, and I would love to invite you to our church. We have Sunday gatherings at 11 a.m. every Sunday.
Okay.
If that would be something that you're interested in.
Yeah, the preaching, the doctrine is what I'm most interested in. That's why I haven't really found a church that I, wanted to keep going to. What do you guys preach?
So we go through a book of the Bible every single Sunday. It's expositional preaching, and we believe that God sent His Son to die for us, and a death that we deserve. So we cannot work for our salvation. So I don't know if that is something that you believe, but that's what we believe.
Okay, well, I would love to join.
Good. I'll save you a seat.
Okay.
Wow, that was great.
Do we have to keep it to 5? Because I'm just on the roll.
I think Hannah made up some of our time for us. All right. Fantastic. Well done. All right. Wow.
I'm a little biased.
Stack of purple.
While you're over there, you had my pen and
She
you
did.
did
I
right
put her on the spot with the
Well done. Well done. All right. There's so many
And
notes.
then I'm like, has the pantry been around for 2 years? A long time. Okay.
Okay. Gospel presentation.
Yes.
Great. Woo, well done. Invited to church, not to small group. That's fine. If you don't know if they're a good fit, you're not sure, church first option, right? This has been very successful for us, inviting them to church, which they're already at. I can name half a dozen people who visit our church and a couple of people who've joined our church from the pantry. So church is perfectly viable as a starting point. If the conversation were to track toward small group, take it there. If not, church is fine. And what I really like this, it's like, hey, come see me. Find me.
Yeah, that was great.
Listened well, gospel shared. Boom. Invited to church before group. Oh, great. Expositional preaching. She remembered expositional
That was
preaching.
great, yeah.
All these $3 words and everything. Fantastic. Okay, transparent. Yes. Another gospel presentation. And presented gospel. Look at that. And then remembered name. Like it. Expositional preaching. Boy, you guys are killing us. Very good. And very welcoming. And invites to church. Wow, that's a lot here. Explains Hy-Vee and gives the gospel. And that's all. That's a lot. That's great. Okay. Well done, you two. So how may we improve on this, how this scenario played out? What are some improvements we can make?
I could have asked her more about her family, like if she had a husband, kids, that kind of thing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, especially saving the seats, like how many seats do you have to save? Is it one, or you save 5 seats because you got, you know,
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'd never
She
considered
did
that.
ask me if I was married, and I said no.
Oh, that's right.
You did ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
All right. It's nervous up here, isn't it? And you know, in the real world, it'd be less nerve-wracking because you don't feel like you're on
Right.
stage. Okay. Other feedback?
Maybe ask her how pantry is served, like how she feels at pantry. Like,
Yeah,
does
has
she feel
served her.
welcomed?
Yeah.
Has it met your needs?
Have you seen the love that happens between our members here? That is the most amazing comment we've ever gotten in the pantry. You know, so far we've had it 3 times from 3 different people that the people in the blue shirts just love each other. How great is that? John 13, 34, and 35. Okay. Some ideas for me. Provide a cozy atmosphere, drinks, food, comfortable seating where everyone can see and hear each of the other members of the group. So if you get them into the group, some ideas are make them very comfortable, make it very homey. That way they want to come back. Be exceptionally friendly toward one another during the group, especially toward guests. I think we are already, but just making a concerted effort to be super friendly to one another and to the group member or the guests. Some thought-provoking questions here. If the group has no child care, how would a family of 5 be received and cared for? If they suddenly showed up at your group.
Maybe one group member could offer to watch the kids.
Okay. Yeah, it would make sense for them to watch their own kids. That's how we could serve them, right?
I feel like Deanne would just grab them and go, you know.
Yes, and could we use that as a launching point, as we talked about earlier? You know, we didn't have 5 kids before, but now we do, and maybe now we start our own little side child care thing for the groups. And sure. What impact would a weekly announcement regarding small groups from the pulpit make?
I think it would make a big difference.
Yeah.
Me too.
I really do, because it's kind of just silent.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not mentioned very often.
That's right. I agree with that. We mentioned many other things, knowing Highview, the marriage conference, many things like this, but I don't hear a lot of announcements from the pulpit about this. But yet, I spoke with Pastor Josh about this, and he seemed to agree that small groups are the most effective way to disciple. It is the most effective. And if we're not announcing them, if we're not making sure that people know about them, where they are, who leads them, who are our leaders here, and you're in a small group, and then the small groups actually go out and talk to these 60% that's not attending. We're missing a really great opportunity. Okay. All right. So the last part of this is debriefing and review. I want to reiterate our 2 goals for this workshop: becoming more comfortable with and effective at invitation through collaborative education. That's what we just did. We worked together to learn together, come up with ideas and so on, and generating new and additional ideas on how to increase average weekly attendance at small groups. And so that was our goals. Quick question. Do you think these workshop goals were achieved today?
Yes.
Okay, pretty much everybody thinks that. Okay, great. So something I want to do is kind of review what we've accomplished via some questions. What is something memorable that stuck with you today? In other words, when you walk out of here, what's the one thing that you go, I hadn't thought about that, or I really enjoyed this, or it was cool watching that? Anything that you think will stick with you from today? What is it?
I just liked the idea that was brought up about like having like a period of time, like a social event after the service, so that we can kind of get to know these people. I like that.
That was my favorite idea.
Yeah,
I love that too. That was really, I think it'll be effective. It won't be logistically easy, and it probably won't be inexpensive either, but it will be very effective.
I
I
think
think
the,
so too. I'm sorry.
you're good.
That when people leave, they don't want to have to, like at our pantry dinner, there was a lot of people that didn't show up, and I saw Beth talk to one of the guys, and he's like, oh, she said, we missed you, and he's like, well, it was 6 o'clock, the kids, da. So I think after church is just a good time, you know, to do it. Yeah.
I think that all three scenarios have an undertone of genuine care for the invitee. The inviters actually wanted them to be at their group, and not out of this kind of like, not like robotic like obedience, but a genuine love for people creates a really effective, like, even if you kind of stutter your way through it, it can still be effective because you care about them and they see that.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, do you think what you've learned aligns with Scripture and or Highview's goals? Yes or no in comments?
Yes.
Yes.
Aligns with Scripture, aligns with our church's goals?
Yes.
Okay. Can you name a next step or an action item, as we often say in the business world, that you can implement in the week following this workshop? Did you get something out of this that you could take into the real world and do it this coming week? Anybody want to comment on what?
I just look for somebody that I don't know at church and just strike up a conversation and see where it goes.
Excellent. Okay, so my final comments here is I think we accomplished in a very short period of time a lot. Overcame a lot of mental and emotional hurdles. We collaboratively learned. We accomplished this goal together. This wasn't done by ourselves. It takes guts to get up here and to role play this out with people watching. I think you've probably already overcome the hardest part. That going out into the real world is probably less difficult than what we did here. The fact that you were willing to participate says a lot about your commitment to discipleship and to evangelism and to growing the church and accomplishing the Great Commission. I think it was a very successful time today. I want to thank you for your participation, and with that, we're finished.